Hey, welcome to You Ask 502, the podcast where we get up close and personal with the plumbers, pipe fitters, and service techs of Local 502. I'm Ryan Kleber. Joining me is my co-host, Erik Elzy.
You Ask 502 is your go-to source for stories, skills, and the daily lives of our hardworking people in this local. We're just getting started, and we're excited to see where this takes us.
Welcome to another exciting episode of You Ask 502. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Kleber. Joining me is
Erik Elzy. Good to be with everybody today.
How you doing after Thanksgiving?
I'm doing good, man. Cheated a little bit I've been trying to follow you a little bit, eat a little bit better, and get a little bit healthier. And then Thanksgiving kind of gets you away from all that,
Yeah, I was a bad boy then too, so sucker for cheesecake.
Working around somebody like you, man, make you feel bad about yourself if you eat bad,
Stop.
Because watching you and it's a true statement. Listen to what you talk about with all the stuff that's in our foods these days. I mean, you can't be wrong when you start looking at all the stuff that's going on in this world. So
yeah, man.
I took a little page from your book, man. Try to eat a little cleaner and live a little healthier, man. I want to live a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Well, good. Well, when you retire, you want to be able to.
I want to enjoy it. I don't want to sit on my couch.
I want to get out and do stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so this episode is about the 401k and all that goes with it, and more so or not the auto-enrollment that's leading.
A lot of fun we've had here recently. I think we want to answer some questions that's been proposed at the last 2 or 3 union meetings. That's maybe some guys haven't gotten the answers that they were searching for, or things weren't explained to them the way that they thought they needed to be explained. So maybe we can help them out with this episode.
Absolutely. And I agree. Yeah, things could have probably went a little different, but past is the past, and we move on. So
right. So auto enrollment, we decided we had a trustee meeting on Tuesday, and auto enrollment is starting in as of right now, November of 2025.
November 1.
November 1 of 2025, and the opt out will start somewhere in the beginning of September. Correct?
August 1st, 3 months before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, August 1st, and that's the 90-day window to opt out before.
Yeah, before.
Right.
And then you get another 3 months after. So 90 days before, 90 days after. The 90 days after, they will start taking it out until you opt out.
Right.
One of the questions we had at the meeting was, any money remitted to the 401k, when will they get it back? Because, with tax loops, you never know if you got to wait till the end of the fiscal year to get it back or the calendar year. So, But no, they said they're going to start remitting in a timely manner. So I think they'll process all applications. I think they said like once a week, and then the following week and get a check shot out. So,
right.
But like we were talking about before we went on, you may not be dollar for dollar getting it back.
Yep, it's going to be taxed. We discussed that at the trustee meeting. We had one of the questions that we asked was, do they get back dollar for dollar, or is this going to be taxed? And the question was answered. This will be taxed. And when these guys, if they get past the 90 days and they start contributing and they don't opt out of it, then if they want their money back, then it won't be dollar for dollar. It will be taxed.
It may be more. Maybe you cashed in on a big hit that 1 week you were in. You got that whale, and now you get it back a little more. And the best way to do it is if you don't want to be a part of it, to get out early, and that makes
get out early. Or
simple.
If you the automatic enroll. What I wanted people to understand, and I talked to a couple of guys after the meeting the other night and last month, and it's not something we're trying to force down somebody's throat, really. I mean, we've been kicking a can down the road for 2 or 3 years as a trustee. You know that as well. And our fund professionals have said, you got to do something. You got to do something. You got to make this. It's the administration costs are just going to get more outrageous. So
yes.
And they actually wanted us to automatically enroll everybody and leave them in it. And
correct.
We decided, no, we're not going to force somebody to do something that they don't want to do.
Well, we finally got them to agree to, do an opt-out. We're like, all right, we'll go along with this push, but there's got to be a way for people who don't want to be in it to get out. So there is. And if for some reason you were in a coma and woke up month 2 after, if you woke up in December, you can still get, your money out.
Right. Yes. So I mean, we just wanted it to be clear that we're not trying to force anything on membership. And originally, why the 401k was started, that's what a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, and I'm not one of these guys. You can probably speak better to this than I can. But
the travelers,
a lot of guys travel to other locals and work in other locals, and they've got money hanging in these other locals, and they couldn't bring it back here because we did not have a 401k or something that they could bring it back to. So originally when Danny Despain was our manager, that was his thought process on it, was giving guys a way to bring their money back from other locals. That's why we originally started it.
Right, because just like ours, one of the ways you can make a withdrawal is if you're kind of severed from that local for 12 months or more. So, like for instance, I've been in Chicago. I had a annuity up there. Once I was gone, you would get a statement, and then you would keep getting statements, but then it would keep getting less and less because I'm not contributing, and they're taking fees. So you could pull it out, but then you're going to lose like 40%.
Yeah, you lose the
And then you got to claim
cuts on it.
Then you got to claim, income on that, which I didn't know one year, and that hurt pretty bad. So
Yeah,
I learned a
once
hard
you
lesson.
pay the penalties and everything, it's not worth messing with it.
That's
And
it.
then a lot of guys with the 401k, they say that's my money, and it is their
It
money.
is.
But what's hard to make them understand is it's a retirement plan. It's not a savings plan. And I've had guys call me before and ask me, "Hey, man, can I take this money out to, build a pole barn?" This guy, wants to build a pole barn. And I'm like, man, that's not one of the hardship reasons that you can draw your money out of the 401k. There is hardship reasons, but that's not one of them. It's supposed to be there for a retirement plan. And the way we set the rules up, the way the agent set the rules up years ago, that's how they gave some. I think there's like 10 hardships. I'm not positive on what they all are right now. Such things as
I have them right here.
there you go. Such things as school, helping one of your kids with school tuition, buying a house, medical bills, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Is what it's used for.
Death, disability, normal retirement age, which is 59 and a half. Terminate from covered employment, which I just spoke like, when you leave the local. Hardship, as, Eric just talked about. And then qualified domestic relations order, which that's quadro. So that's like a divorce.
Yeah, that's a divorce. Yeah. So, and I
there you
mean,
go.
now that there's lots of guys, members that don't want to be in it, and that's understandable. And that's why we wanted the opt out. We wanted the opt out because there's lots of people that didn't want to be in it. And
Correct.
And then even now, the fees are $950 a month for people that have a balance. Which, what do we determine? 833 people have
833
balance.
active participants with an average balance of $10,227.
Yep. And then you've got only 382 of those
Active.
833 people that are actually still contributing to the 401k. So, one of the questions is, $9.50 a month if you have a balance, not if you're contributing. If you
Yes.
have a balance in the account, then your $9.50 a month is coming out of your balance to help pay the administration costs. The whole purpose of this is to help maybe get more participation, lower the administration costs. And some guys probably think, well, I don't want to be in it, so why am I automatically being enrolled in it so that I can help pay some administration costs of something that I don't want to be in? And that's understandable.
But you don't have to be in it.
You don't have to be in it. All you have to do is check the box on the card and say, I'm not interested in it. You have a 90-day window to do that and get out of it, and you never have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
The purpose of this is to hopefully get more participation. The statistics they read us in the trustee meeting, I don't believe our local is going to fall into the statistics. The 80-90% participation, I don't think our local will fall into that. I mean, we may get some more participation. Well, they say 30% of our membership is engaged. Is that what they said? I don't think 382. Yeah. I mean, I count 833, but that's not contributing members.
Well, I mean, there's north of 400 that are just having a balance that aren't contributing at all.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to climb from 30% to 80 or 90%. We may climb. I'm thinking, I'm just just me guessing here, maybe 5 or 10%. You might get some people that'll stay in it, but that's just all part of when you elect people like us as trustees and we sit in these rooms. I mean, these are decisions we have to make. Sometimes it ain't popular. Guys don't like it, but it's just the decisions that we have to make sitting at that table in there,
Well, I mean, whoever was in that room, whether it be us or 4 other people, I mean, they're going to have the same question at them. It's not like we brought this up. Like, we weren't here for the inception of the 401k, but it is a trust that we've been entrusted to run, and these are questions that since 2017 or 18, I guess, since my first meeting, that have come up. Like, what are we going to do? Because most 401ks and other locals are fringe, which we don't want to do that. But I'm saying, so then it's all volunteer basis. Well, a lot of people don't want to volunteer that money.
And that was hard for some guys that had questions at the union meetings too. Is they're like, this is my money. This is my money. How can you force me to do something with my money? And that's a legit question, but this is a trustee issue. It is not a member issue.
Right.
And that's what's hard for the members to understand is, this is as when you elect people into these positions, we make these decisions. When this 401k was adopted and put into place, now it's the trustees' fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the funds are okay and everything's
Yes.
right.
People don't understand that. Once you're over a trust as a trustee, your sole responsibility is to make sure that trust is solvent at all times. Whether you agree with it or not,
Right.
you are responsible for that trust. And if you do anything outside the lines to jeopardize that trust, you can be held accountable and or sued.
That's what I was getting
let
ready to
go.
say. I was going to ask you. I was going to say, so what could happen if we don't do our
Yeah.
jobs when it comes to that? I mean, we could personally be sued.
Yes.
I mean, not just as a trustee, but I mean, that's why we have to buy insurance every year as trustees to protect ourselves. And
I know. It's
so
not in the brochure when you run for office.
a lot of most members don't know that we have to buy insurance on ourselves to protect ourselves from being sued. So that's our jobs, man. And it's not always fun. It's not always popular to make these decisions and then have to go try to talk to members about it and make them understand that, we're not doing this. Nobody's been, I mean, you and I are not benefiting from this in a better way than each rank and file member. I mean,
I'm not even in it. This does nothing
I
for
am
me.
in it. I am in it. But I mean, I don't get a better benefit from it just simply because I'm a trustee on the funds. It's the same to the
Whatever money you
members.
put in
That's it. That's
is
the
what it's going to
same.
be when it
Yes.
comes out. Plus, hopefully, you've got some
Correct.
dividends on the end of it. So
Correct. And that gets frustrating sometimes in union meetings when, some members, and I understand, man, this is a union. This is our local. This is, we got 2,700 members. And some guys, they get frustrated because they feel like something's happening and they shouldn't be happening. But man, I mean, I can assure you with that table, and you can attest to this too, we have fund professionals sitting there, attorneys sitting there, and they won't let us get out of line of doing something that's wrong, illegal, or anything like that, man.
well, they're bound by the same principles as us. Like they
Yeah.
can't do anything to, and they can only offer, counsel. They can't,
Yeah.
But unless we're doing something stupid, it's like, ooh, you can't do that.
Right. Right. What else we want to say
well,
on this?
Like it kind of just to touch on what you were saying, in the day and age where, there's always like some people think there's shady stuff going on, I mean, it's like, well, this is an infringement, even though I can opt out, what's next, and that's kind of what I've heard from people. It's like, well, what's the next step? And I'm like, there is no next step. This is just one fund that we're trying to keep rolling for the people who are in it. And some people, if you get in it, it's like, you can't have too much money when you retire.
It's yeah, you can. That's just it. That's what these, the younger guys that are just getting into the local, man. I mean, if they're listening, if they're watching our podcast, I mean, who knows what the cost of healthcare is going to be 30 years from now, 40 years from now? Who knows what the tax rates are going to be 30 years, 40 years from now? And, if you're not into our 401k or our Roth IRA,
get into something.
I encourge you to you need to get into something, man, because I mean, the cost, we don't know what they're going to be. I mean, right now I'm turned 49 on Sunday, and I started kind of running numbers myself just in my head. What's it going to cost me for this and this and this when I go to retire 10 years from now? And I'm glad that my local provides us, with ways to have other avenues, because I'm not a money manager, man. I don't know what our money managers that sit at the table with us know. I mean, I dabble a little bit reading on some stuff, but I mean, I'm so thankful that our local offers us what they offer us to be able to live a good life when we retire, if we set ourselves up right.
Yeah. And a lot of that's on us. There's no cap. Now we're kind of, slipping into the DB part of this, where the pension, but I mean, there's no cap on it. So the more you work, the more you have, to add to the multiplier whenever you retire.
And you and I know how good our pension is compared to other locals around this country. I mean, you talk to other locals around this country, and it's sad to listen to some of them. I mean, even in the city, the electricians, I mean, them guys got to work till they're 65 years old. They can't afford to retire. And
most of them only have a UA pension.
Yeah.
Most
locals. Yeah, most locals, that is their retirement.
And you could put in all $12 an hour, and the best you ever come out with is maybe a $200 credit, where if we ever put in all $12 an hour, you're looking at like a $500 credit that year. So
we talked about all that stuff at the meeting, and maybe the pension's another subject for another podcast.
It is.
I mean, this 401k, man, I mean, it's probably, it may not, because it's not a 401k where your contractor matches it or your union. That's the hard part about it is there's no match.
There's no match because we can't match because we're just matching with our own money.
Right.
And which contractor is matching? If you contributed, if you were 6 months here, 6 months there, like which contractor picks up the match? And it's just dollar for dollar. You put money in.
And while we're talking about that, we talked about this at the table too. Guys need to understand. Members need to understand that when if they're enrolled in the 401k, because that may be the problem with some of these 833 people that have a balance and 382 of them are only contributing. There may
They
be some
switch
of them people,
contractors.
they switch to contractor and they just
Yeah.
think they're still in the 401k. But when you move contractors, you have to make sure that the new contractor you're working for understands that you're contributing to a 401k.
Yeah, there's not a database that connects all the contractors to
We're
each other
working
like
on
some
that.
matrix.
It's
No.
something we've kicked around, but I don't know how we would ever do it. But we're trying to get it to where, when a guy moves from one contractor to
Yeah.
another, that he still is contributing to the 401k.
Some people prefer a clean slate going from contractor to contractor.
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't want them to know anything about me.
Right. Right.
Bad
Right.
breakup. So
Yeah.
I did pull this up a little bit because we do have a 401k and a Roth.
Mm-hmm.
So, a 401k, obviously we know, sorry, let me get back up here, is it's, you get this through your job. So it's pre-tax contributions. So the money goes into the account before taxes are taken out. But that also lowers your taxable income, which is something I think a lot of people miss. And you pay taxes later when you take the money out. Whereas a Roth is the opposite. The Roth goes
Polar
in.
opposite. Yep.
So you're getting taxed on, if you get $1 an hour, 40 hours, you're getting taxed on $40. And then it's tax-free growth. And then when you retire,
Yeah.
So let's see here. I took an example because I wanted people to understand what it means when it's, here we go. Which lowers your taxable income. So with the 401k, and this is just the example they gave. Let's see. Without a 401k, you earn $60,000 a year. You pay income taxes on the full 60. Let's say your tax rate's 20%. We're just throwing an odd number for easy division. Your taxes would be 60,000 times 20%. You pay $12,000 in taxes. So your take-home pay after that is $48,000. Right? With the 401k, you earn 60. You decide to contribute 5 to the 401k. Your taxable income is reduced by 5. All right. So taxes are only calculated on 55,000, which does help. And your tax at the same rate. So it's 11,000 in taxes. Your take home pay is 44,000. But you've saved 5,000 in a 401k. So by contributing to the 401k, you save 1,000 in taxes this year. And then you've also contributed 5,000. That's still yours for later on. So that's
Right.
kind of, because that part always slips, and I always do forget to bring that up, that it's pre-tax, post-tax, but it also lowers your taxable income. You can save money because it is pre-tax and actually not take the hit,
Right.
if you need
That's
to
a
be
good
under the
way
window.
I'm glad you explained that so guys understand what the difference is in the Roth and the 401k, and one's pre-tax, one's post-tax. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
glad, so they're
Because it's always so IRA is like, well, why would you? Like you're putting in, on 40 hours now, $1 an
Right.
hour,
Right.
go ahead and tax that because
Yeah.
20% on $40 ain't nothing compared to, 20% on $200,000.
Right.
But when you get older, you're probably going to, when you start pulling it out, your income, your yearly income is probably going to be way less than it was when you were a young man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
So you may fall into a better bracket. So I don't know. There's a lot of math that goes into
Yeah.
that
Right.
quantum computing that I'm not hip to yet.
So I think, how you feel about it? Is there anything else you want to speak on the 401k? I mean, I feel like we covered what we talked about at the trustee meeting with the meeting. I mean, the questions that I feel like were being asked at the meeting,
Yeah.
the last couple of union meetings, I feel like maybe we've steered them in a direction where, I spoke to a couple of guys after the meeting, and I just explained to them the same way I did you. I mean, within this podcast, I mean,
Right.
we're not trying to shove anything down anybody's throat. I mean, this is just a can we've kicked down the road, and we've got to do something about it. And this is what we've come up with. If you don't want to be in it, you don't have to be in it. You just
Not at all.
The only problem is you have to check a box on a card to make sure
Yes.
it gets turned in. That's
So
it.
I know the last meeting, one of the, the heated was like, you got to come here and sign a piece of paper. I ain't coming here, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Which, here nor there. But they're going to mail you something. And it's just like you said, you want to opt out, you check the box, you mail it back, and you're out.
Yep.
So
That's
I mean,
it.
That's it. So there's no coming here. Literally, you just, and it's, it's a pre-stamped envelope. So it should go pretty easy is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it should. I mean, it should. And honestly, man, if we really wanted to get crazy, we could explore, let you and I know. Hey, call me, call Rhino.
Yeah.
We got the guys on the job site. We got 50 guys on this job, and
Yeah,
they
we'll
all
come
got their
pick up all the
cards.
cards.
We'll go pick them up. We'll come
Bring some
pick them up and
donuts.
bring them back in here
Get the shit. Yeah.
make sure
We're
the
good.
girls in the benefit office get them. So
And
we can make sure.
I don't know if a lot of people know, we do have a new lady in the benefit office, Cindy Bender.
Cindy
I know it's
Bender,
been
yeah.
Patty since I've been here, plus many years before that. So
Yeah.
I know, most people don't spend as much time as the benefit office unless there's, God forbid, something wrong or retirement, but
or
generally,
adding a child, or they got married, or whatever.
or your Benny card's been turned off.
But yeah, Cindy Bender's down there, Diana Graham's down there.
Well,
Both of
Dan,
them.
the goat's still there.
Yep, both of them will be willing to do anything you need to have help. And like I said, if they feel good about, hey, bring them into work and hand them to a stew on a job and say, hey, call the hall and have them come out here and get these things, or
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'll be glad. I know you would too. We'd both be glad to hit a job site and say, hey, where's the cards? And we'll bring them back in here and make sure the girls in the benefit office get them. And we can get this taken. Any way we can make it to go as a Smith. These guys that don't want to be in it, look, we're not trying to force you to be in it. We'll do what we got to do to help you not be in it if that's how you feel.
Correct. And I will ask, and I don't see why we couldn't do this, maybe have a spreadsheet of all the active members in the local. And as they come in, just yay or nay, and then maybe, someone can call us, say you mailed your card in, 2 months ago, and you assume that you're not contributing, but you end up like maybe some got lost. You can call and be like, well, look, I'm like, okay, yeah, actually, you have checked saying you've opted out.
Right.
Kind of a little
Yeah.
reassurance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So.
I agree with that.
Cool.
So,
All right, Dan.
but we did good, man. We did another good one, man. I mean, I think we're getting better to this episode 4. Hell, by the time we get to 10, boy,
I know, right?
watch out, man.
That's it. We're gonna have sponsors. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys,
Yeah.
girls,
I'm enjoying
well,
it, man.
catch you on the next one. These
man.
will drop after the first of the year, is what we're being told, and they're gonna come out with the launch of our new website they were being designed. That should be available in January. A link to these podcasts. We're gonna do some mailbags coming up, so we're gonna kind of start rolling, at least doing once every couple of weeks here. Once we get to
Yeah, I'm
rolling.
looking forward to getting questions with and see what the members that are interacting with us want to know, what things that they want to hear us talk about. I'm looking
For
forward
sure.
to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good
Well,
one, man.
everybody. This is right here. We're a couple
Yes.
weeks here for Christmas. Everybody have a good Christmas, Happy New Year,
Happy
all that
Hanukkah.
stuff, and everybody stay safe.
All right. Be good.